as it's International Week in the football, and it couldn't have come at a better time for either of our teams, really, could it?
Yeah.
Everton in the bottom three. How bad is that? And United not far off, are they?
No,
2 points out of it. So, yeah, I'm quite happy not to think about football at the moment. But because it's International Week, I couldn't think of a game really this week, so happened across a website that had a spreadsheet of Premier League nationalities.
Ooh.
Nationalities of players in the Premier League, and wrote a little quiz. So we're going to play a game of the Premier League of Nations. Marvellous Ivorian chocolate, Portuguese and French men o' war. What do they have in common? Sense my consternation as we hear about the Premier League of Nations.
It's good to play this whilst we still can before Brexit.
Yeah, before we're kicked out of the League of Nations. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so I've just done some questions. You'll know. Question 1. The Premier League is not particularly known for giving homegrown players a chance, but so far this Premiership season, what percentage of minutes have been played by English players? Is it 23, 33, or 43%?
23, 33 or 43.
Yeah.
I think the last few years it's been around 20%. I think.
Mm-hmm. It's like there are not a lot of English players, are there? It seems.
But it does feel like right now they are getting more. Mainly because Chelsea are playing youngsters when previously they had maybe one.
Yeah, they had them all out on loan, didn't they?
Yeah.
All their good young English players were all out on loan.
So that's like 11 extra.
Yeah, Frank Lampard's come back. He's a big believer in English talent, isn't he?
I don't know why.
Well, he was one, wasn't he?
None of the talent he played with ever won anything.
No, but they did better than...
Internationally.
Yeah, they did better than later on.
Yeah.
Like, they've gotten good again now, but there was a period after Lampard's time where we were terrible at everything.
Yeah.
And now we're better. So
I'm going to go... I think it's gone up. I'm going to say 33.
You think it's 33%? And you are right. It is almost exactly 33%. Yeah, you are right. Tammy Abraham, quite big in that, and Mason Mount, both big Chelsea talents who are playing in the league this year. And like a lot of the lower teams, Sheffield United have got quite a few English players. So it does seem like it is turning around a little bit. Hopefully it will, because I would prefer there to be more homegrown players. I do think it's good for the national side, like you say. It's good for the young players to be playing at the top level. Question 2. The Vikings raided the UK from 793 until 1066.
In the morning.
Yes. And then they had a little nap when they were finally repelled by William the Conqueror. But which formerly Viking nation is doing its best to revive history by having the most number of players in the Premier League? Is it A, Denmark, B, Norway, or C, Sweden? So this is the most number of players to have played this year so far. So we're only, 10 games in? 9 games in?
Most number of players, not most minutes.
No, not most minutes, most number of players.
I can't think of many players from those nationalities.
It's tough, isn't it?
Christian Eriksen.
Yes. Where is he from?
Denmark.
Danish. Yes, he is. That's right.
And
that's it.
So Denmark was 1.
1 against 0.
So I can't believe he is the only one, but based on that very small sample, I have to say Denmark.
And based on that, you're correct. Denmark have 6 players in the Premier League. Kasper Schmeichel, one of them.
Of course.
Christian Eriksen, some others. Don't know them all. Norway have 2 and Sweden also have 2. So, very good. Question 3. The Republic of Ireland is around 5 times larger than its northern brother or sister. No gender specifics here. In landmass, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whilst Northern Ireland naturally has less players in the Premier League, does it have more players per kilometre squared of landmass, do you think?
No.
So
Maybe.
I can tell you that there is 5 Northern Irish players in the Premier League. Do you want me to tell you how many Republican players there are?
But then,
You'd
I know it's 5 times,
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that. I was just very quickly in my head trying to work out whether that was a good idea, and I'm glad I didn't. Yes, there are 5 Northern Irish players in the Premier League.
So, and Ireland is 5 times bigger.
Yep, in landmass.
So 25 Republic of Ireland players.
Ireland is 70,000 kilometres squared, whilst Northern Ireland is only 14,000 kilometres squared. This is for the listeners, not for you. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't need to know this.
No.
I'm busy calculating.
Exactly. I'm buying you some time.
By calculating, adding
Buying a
1 or
calculator.
2 to 25 or not. 25 Republic of Ireland players seems like a lot in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say Northern Ireland has more per kilometre squared.
You think Northern Ireland has more players per kilometre squared, and you're correct. That's 3 in a row. Very good. I may have made that too easy by telling you how many Northern Irish players there were. Maybe
Yeah,
shouldn't have done that. Yeah. There are only 15 Republic of Ireland players. So Northern Ireland has 2,826 kilometres squared for each player that they have in the league. Imagine if you got that. If you just got given that much space.
When you made the Premier League.
Yeah. You get a fifth of Northern Ireland, so you do. A larger percentage, however, of Republicans, of like the population of the Republic, play in the Premier League. There is 0.03% of Republic of Irish people play in the Premier League,
Right.
whereas only 0.2 or 0.02% play of Northern Irish people, which means Northern Ireland is more
densely populated.
Yeah. I was doing that with my hands.
Yeah.
I smacked the microphone instead. Packed in is what I was trying to say. Yes. Very good. Question 4. The English and the French have had what could be called a turbulent relationship over the years. Is the number of French players in the Premier League, who have played in the Premier League this year, more or less than the number of years that the two countries have spent at war with each other?
Wasn't there 100 Years' War?
There may be.
Can't be 100 French players in the Premier League.
Or is there?
No.
I'm raising my eyebrows.
I'm going to say there are not more French players than number of years we've been at war.
With the French.
Aren't we at war now with the French? Brexit.
Culturally, yeah. Not technically. We always culturally at war with the French, aren't we, really? And you are right, there is not more than 100. I didn't know if you'd know there was 100 years war with the French. I didn't know it was with the French. I knew we'd spent a lot of time at war with the French, though.
Yeah.
Do you want to know, you want to guess how many years over the last 800 we've spent at war with the French?
175.
247.
Wow.
That is including the 100 Years' War, which technically kind of was broken up.
Yes.
But it is known as the 100
They
Years'
just
War.
lost a piece of paper.
Yeah. I'll just call it 100 Years' War, who cares? And there is 30 French players in the Premier League, so not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close. But they are the second most represented nation in the Premier League. 137 English players, 30 French players. And they are the second most, yeah. Question 5. Australia and Iceland are both nicely remote island nations, just like Britain. But which country has more players... has more players playing more minutes. That doesn't make sense. Has players playing more minutes in their home from home.
When you say nicely remote, Australia could do with being more remote.
Oh, really? You'd rather it was further away
Yeah.
from us? Get further away.
But eventually it'd start being closer, wouldn't it?
It's pretty much as far away as it can get, isn't it? Without getting closer again.
There's a few.
Aussies?
Icelandic players.
Oh,
aren't there?
Icelandics. Okay.
Are there many Aussies?
So this is not about number of players. It's
Number
about
of
minutes played, yeah.
I think the Icelandic players will get more minutes. I think they're just better.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that, Australia. Shots fired.
I'm going Iceland.
You think Iceland?
Yeah.
And you are wrong. It is Australia, but not by much. Both nations only have 2 players having made appearances this season. So it's not necessarily players who are in the Premier League. It's only ones who've played this season, so there could be injuries and stuff. There's 2 Icelandics, Gylfi Sigurdsson and Johan Berg Gudmundsson. I don't know who he is. No. And 2 Australians, Matthew Ryan and Aaron Mui.
I know neither of them. That's why I thought Iceland.
Mui plays for Brighton Huddersfield. One of those 2.
Brighton Huddersfield.
Yeah, one of those 2.
That town.
You know how they'd like kind of joined together, those 2 nations, those 2 towns. But they have played 960 minutes so far, whereas the Icelandics have only played 942.
Oh.
Very close though, so I won't hold it too much against you. Question 6. Only one country with sanctions imposed on them by the US are represented in the Premier League. Which country is it?
Iran, surely. Surely Iran.
You've gone Iran?
Yeah.
And you are wrong. Iran. That's funny, isn't it? It is Cuba. Apparently no Iranian players. I can't think of an Iranian player in the Premier League.
No.
But
I can't think of a Cuban player.
I wouldn't have thought of a Cuban either. But apparently Onel Hernandez, who plays for Norwich. Hernandez. He has played, and let's see how many minutes. 20. He's played 20 minutes in the Premier League this year. But he is the only person from a US sanctioned nation.
A claim to fame.
Yeah. He's got in the quiz.
Yeah.
Good on him. Question 7. Aston Villa midfielder Marvelous Nakamba.
Good name.
What a name. Is the only representative from his country in the Premier League. Which country is he from? Is it Dominican Republic of Congo? Is it Romania? Or is it Zimbabwe?
What's his name?
Marvelous Nakamba.
I'm ruling out Romania.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Definitely
Okay.
sounds like an African name.
It does, doesn't it? Marvellous.
Marvellous as well.
It's such a good name. I'd love to be
Who's
called
he?
Marvellous.
Marvellous.
Yeah, but who is he? Marvellous. Just shrug, say marvellous. Be alright, wouldn't it? I can tell you he's played 346 minutes, if that helps.
Good number of minutes.
Yeah.
I wonder if Marvellous was the name on his fake ID when he was younger. And he's just kept it.
And he's just carried on with it.
It just stuck.
Yeah, it's probably surely it's a nickname. Surely it can't be his real name, can it?
I don't know.
Maybe it is. I don't know. African nations do have great names, don't they? Sometimes. What was that guy? Sex Whale, Tokyo Sex Whale.
Yeah.
What a name.
I'm gonna go Dominican Republic of Congo. That rings a bell.
Yeah.
DRC. Yeah.
As in, it rings a bell because you've heard of it as a country, or
yeah,
think
I've not heard of
Marvellous-
this Zimbabwe.
You think Marvelous Nakamba is from the Dominican Republic of Congo? You are wrong. You're in a bad slump all of a sudden. He is a Zimbabwean. I thought you might get fooled by the Romanian one because I thought you might think, why is that in there?
Yeah.
Why is it in there? They both only have one player in the league. Arthur Masuaku is a Dominican Republic player. He plays for West Ham. And Florin Andone is from Romania. I know that name, Andone. I think I've seen him play for Brighton. Question 8. Portugal is famous for 2 things: footballers and men o' war. Man o' wars? Couldn't work out how to pluralise it. Portuguese men of war.
Yeah.
Is that right? Anyway. Yeah. The jellyfish, anyway. Although, actually, they're not jellyfish. Did you know this?
They're just jelly.
They're just fish. Would you know? No, they are like a collection of organisms that live together like symbiotes. Yeah, so they're not technically a jellyfish, but anyway. How many times would the excruciating sting from a Portuguese man of war have time to wear off in the time that its footballing cousins have played in the Premier League so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you might struggle with that. So,
once it stings you.
There are 13 Portuguese players in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They have played a number of minutes. Not going to tell you how many.
Yep.
And then, yes, how many times could the sting have worn off and then it sting you again and then wear off and then sting you again and wear off in the amount of minutes that the Portuguese players have played in the league?
So, 13 players.
13 Portuguese players, yes. They are the 8th most represented, or joint 6th, actually, most represented country in the Premier League.
How many minutes have there been so far this season?
I can tell you that if you want.
Yeah.
There has been a total of 158,027 minutes in the Premier League so far.
158,000.
Yeah. I can maybe help you out with this one a little bit because it's very hard. Now that when I write them, I'm never quite sure how hard they're going to be. So I can tell you that between them, they have played 4,519 minutes. The 13 Portuguese players. It's quite a lot, isn't it?
Man of War Sting. How long would that last? No idea. Literally no idea. 2 hours.
It's one of the most excruciating things that can happen to you is being stung by a Portuguese man of war.
But it might be excruciating for a small amount of time.
Yeah.
And then just wears off.
Couldn't it?
Or maybe
it would have to be, wouldn't you?
Maybe it lasts 3 days.
Yeah, it could be. What are them things when you stand on them and it's like supposed to be the most horrible pain in the world? They look like rocks.
Rockfish.
Is that what they're called? Rock jellyfish.
Like in rock pools and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Urchins, sea urchins.
Yeah, it might well be an urchin, but there's one that's supposed to be like it's the most painful thing you can possibly do. They tested it with this tester thing that they had, and it was the most painful thing. But then,
did they also have a lion bite you? Because I imagine that's pretty painful as well.
Yeah, but apparently this is worse.
So they had lions.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't do the study. But Portuguese men of war were up there, is what I was trying to say.
Okay. So let's say excruciating pain for 2 hours. 120 minutes.
Yep.
So
into 4,500.
4,000 is...
If you call it 100, it'd be 45. So less than that.
Yeah.
20% off that.
So 38 times.
You think you could get stung 38 times in the amount of times that Portuguese players have played in the Premier League? You are wrong. It is 225.
I'm not bang on.
You're not bang on at all, no. I was going to give you it within 25, but you're fucking miles off, so I'm not going to. It's 225 times.
Oh, loads.
It is excruciating for 20 minutes and then it wears off.
Oh.
Yeah. But apparently it is awful for those 20 minutes and then you're fine. No, you're probably not fine, but...
Sting me again. Yeah. Again.
Dug me again. Did you know Portuguese men of war, their tentacles can be up to 165 feet long?
What?
That is crazy.
So
I can't even think how long that is. That's like 50 meters high, isn't it? 50 meters long.
And a sting at the tip is just as painful as a sting at the.
You wouldn't want to get stuck on the tip. That'd be awful.
Yeah, that'd be more painful.
That's excruciating. Okay, last question. You are currently 4-4, so you need this last question. The Ivory Coast is the highest cocoa producing nation in the world, producing 30% of the world's cocoa. It's a lot, isn't it?
I'll have to visit.
How many tons each would the Ivory Coast players in the Premier League have if they split all of Ivory Coast's cocoa for a year between them? I saw your eyes.
How much again?
I saw your eyes go then. So Ivory Coast supplies 30% of the world's cocoa.
Yep.
And the world every year creates about 5 million tons of cocoa. I'll tell you that.
I'm going to use a calculator.
Yeah. So 5 million tons of cocoa. Ivory Coast was 30% of it, which you're just going to do the math, so I'll say it.
Yeah.
Is 1.44 million tons every year.
1.4 million tons.
Yeah, 1.44 technically, which might make a difference, mightn't it? So then you've got to work out how many Ivory Coast players, Ivorians, are there in the Premier League.
Not many.
Aren't there?
Mane? Is he from the Ivory Coast?
No, he is not. I don't know where he's from though, Sadio Mane. Not certain.
Well,
I know he is not.
That's one off. That's one off the number I was thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
I can tell you, Wilfried Zaha, Ivorian.
I'm going to say 480,000 tons.
I think 480,000, and that's based on 3 players, is it? You are wrong. It's 290,000 tons because there are 5 Ivorians in the league. Nicolas Pepe, Wilfried Zaha, Serge Aurier, Jean-Philippe Gbamin.
Good name.
Don't know who he is. And Jonathan Khadija are the 5 Ivorians in the league. But imagine if you had that much chocolate. 290,000 metric tons.
I've been quite down recently, so I've been eating a lot of chocolate, so I'm not far off.
Yeah, you're about 270 metric tons. I'm nearly there, boys. Ivory Coast better up their production next year, aren't they? There we go. Wilfried Zaha out there picking it all.
Single-handedly propping up their economy. You're welcome.
Helping Africa out, aren't you? It's like charity. So you got 4 out of 9 after going 4 from 4 at the start. You've just dropped off.
Slump. I feel like Man United.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's not think any more about football now, please. Marvellous Ivorian chocolate, Portuguese and French men o' war. What do they have in common? Sense my consternation as we hear about the Premier League.